Somewhere at a team's testing facility at 2 in the morning, a Formula One reserve driver is still awake, running lap after lap of a circuit he may never actually race on, inside a simulator that cost more than most people's houses. He is fully strapped in, helmet on, heart rate monitored, and if you turned on the television this weekend, you would not see his name anywhere. This is one of the strangest jobs in professional sports. Paid millions, trained to the very edge of human reaction time, built for one single moment that might never come. Because unlike every other Formula One driver on the grid, his entire career depends on someone else's bad day. Meet the Formula One reserve driver. Every Formula One team fields 2 race drivers on a Sunday. But behind them sits another driver entirely contracted, on standby, ready to climb into the cockpit with almost no notice at all. It happened in 2024 when Carlos Sainz woke up with appendicitis on the morning of the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. Within hours, a teenager named Oliver Bearman was strapped into a Formula One car he had never raced competitively and finished the race in the points. That same season, Bearman did it twice more for a different Formula One team, stepping in when one of their race drivers was disqualified, and again when the other fell ill on a different race weekend. 3 call-ups. 3 different weekends. Same reserve driver, same phone ringing at the worst possible moment for everyone else and the best possible moment for him. That is the entire point of a reserve driver. Insurance. Except this is insurance that spends every single day hoping to actually be needed. So what does the job actually look like week to week? It starts in the factory. While the 2 race drivers are traveling the world, the reserve driver is often at home, working through hundreds of hours in the simulator. Testing setup changes the Formula One team cannot risk trying for real. Every gear ratio, every suspension tweak, every aerodynamic update gets driven virtually first by him. Then the travel begins. Reserve drivers fly to almost every Grand Prix, not to relax in the garage, but to work. On Friday, they sit in on engineering debriefs, listening to what the race drivers are saying about the balance of the Formula One car. On Saturday, if they are lucky, they might even drive it themselves. Formula One rules require every team to give a rookie driver track time in first practice at least twice a season, and more often than not, that seat belongs to the reserve. It is one of the only chances all year for him to actually feel the Formula One car he has been simulating for months. Sunday is different again. No cockpit, no radio call, unless something goes wrong. Instead, he is in the garage, headset on, cross-checking data, ready to be strapped into a spare seat within the hour if either race driver goes down. It rarely happens. But when it does, there is no warm-up lap and no sympathy from the stopwatch. Off the track, the job barely slows down. Reserve drivers are expected to be ambassadors, sponsor appearances, fan events, demo runs in cars that were never built to be driven casually. Some of them do this while also racing full seasons elsewhere in Formula 2, IndyCar, or endurance racing, just to stay sharp enough to be trusted with a Formula One car at a moment's notice. Every one of those extra kilometers in a completely different car on a completely different weekend is really just an audition for a phone call he is desperate to receive. And here is the part most people miss. Being a reserve driver is not a consolation prize. It is often the exact opposite. George Russell used to be a reserve driver. So was Oscar Piastri. So was Daniel Ricciardo decades earlier. For a huge number of current Formula One drivers, the reserve seat was not the end of the dream, it was the audition. But it can just as easily go the other way. Some reserve drivers spend years in the role and never get the call. Talented, race-ready, and simply waiting for a phone that does not ring season after season, while younger prospects line up behind them for the very same seat. So next time a Formula One driver falls ill, or picks up a shock penalty, or simply has an off weekend, spare a thought for the driver sitting quietly in the garage. Fully strapped in, fully prepared, hoping more than anything that this is finally the weekend the call comes. Because in Formula One, the most important driver on the grid might be the one who is still waiting for his shot.